Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everyone. How are you doing on this amazing Wednesday with the sun shining here in the Detroit metropolitan area? I am happy for that because the day started off kind of gloomy and cool, but it turned around this afternoon, and it's just a beautiful spring evening, with the exception of my allergies being off the chain. So I'm apologizing now if I sound a bit nasally, if I have to pause a little bit more for the decongestion. Fortunately, I have a little bit of sinus pressure in my head, so it's causing just a tad bit of a headache, but I am here nonetheless to this amazing platform called Get to Know Bob, where we do just that. We get to know some amazing Bobs. They have been founders of nonprofits, business owners, authors, musicians, sports and cooking. I think that's all, because the umbrella of business owners, is like every category. We got health and beauty, health and wellness. You have beauty, you have food, and you have wellness, you have nutrition, you have automotive, home and improvement. So just so many umbrellas that we've covered with business owners. And it's just been an amazing time. I'm looking down just a little bit. So if you bear with me, I'll be honest, I'm just trying to pull up where we're at live so that I can keep an eye out for the comments that come through. So please, if you are watching this live, go ahead and share your comments in the chat. I would love to have you. And it's funny because I was going to start, and I guess old habits die hard, or was it old habits die young? I'm not sure the saying completely. But I was going to do this actually not on YouTube Live. And so I was in the wrong place looking for it. I really was going to do this on Facebook Live, because this is a recap. So I was saying that, our actual live segments aired on YouTube Live. So the recaps we were going to air live on Facebook in case anyone missed them. And that way we can catch a new group of people who might have missed them on the YouTube side and get them over there to see the entire conversation. And before I go any further, by the way, I'm Sonia M. Weaver, the host of this amazing show, Get to Know Bob. And I thank you again for joining us on this evening. Now, tonight's going to be a little bit different. As you know, we had made some advancements in our technology as it pertained to some pre-recordings and or our advertisement of events. And we thank you. If you have an upcoming event, please make sure you send that information to us. We would love to feature your event on our episode. And make sure we get that out and create awareness and encourage support of the events that you are having. Now, why I said the show's going to be a little bit different. One, because we're going back to me kind of talking a little bit more throughout the show as I talk about these events, and they won't have the music with the voiceover except for the first segment. But two, it's going to be a recap of April. And if you recognize, or if you paid attention to what the actual program is entitled, it's April Showers, because we're talking about the month of April, which went by so fast. As I was getting ready for the recap, I was like, wow, those weeks did go by fast. So April showers bring May flowers, and it's called Nurturing Connections. And what that means is, when you think about the showers, they're providing the nourishment and what's needed for the flowers to grow and come through in May. And that's where that came from. April showers bring May flowers. And it's the same with what we're talking about with a lot of the events that happen in April came from nourishing relationships and collaborations with people. And so what happened was is that in April you actually saw the flowers blooming in April, so to speak, even, but they were being rained on with those nurturing and those collaborations and connections ahead of time to allow for those May flowers to spring forth. But I think it's still very relevant to say, even though I'm talking about events that happen in April, that concept continues. You will see yourself where you have nurtured relationships and then build these connections and collaborations that will allow for new flowers to blossom. So if you find yourself like thinking, I'm not seeing, the fruits of my labor, or I'm not getting the financial independence I was hoping from on being a entrepreneur or business owner. But if you have nurtured those relationships and you're watering those and making sure that they stay in good soil by staying connected and engaging and not doing the work for just the financial reward, right? If you actually are genuinely building relationships and connections, the flowers are going to bloom. It's part of nature. The thing is we don't know when they're actually going to break through, but they all will break through as long as they land on fertile soil and that soil is being nurtured and taken care of. If you just plant a seed on some soil that doesn't have any nutrients and it's sand, it's not going to take root and it's not going to grow. You might see a little thing sprout through, but it's not going to have that lasting longevity. If you try to plant seed on stone, you're not going to get any results at all. So when you plant a seed in fertile ground, fertile dirt, right? And sometimes that's where it really is. You get in the dirt of things, the muck of things, and you add in the fertilizer and then the water. It looks really messy, but it's creating an ecosystem and an environment that will allow for that flower, that vegetable, that fruit to blossom through, right? And that's exactly what we do with our relationships. We're allowing for our nurturing of them to produce beautiful, beautiful flowers. So on tonight's show, that's kind of what we're going to do in April because I was away. We didn't have any Wednesday night shows in the month of April. We were just that busy, which is why it is so important for us to get this technology together so that we can do some pre-recording, so that we can continue to bring you week by week these amazing conversations with the phenomenal business owners that we come in contact with and that we have relationship with, because some are overdue to come back and they have been up to some amazing things. And it is like, how sometimes it's just time to have that conversation again. It is time to have that conversation with several of our previous guests. If we can get to the point of pre-recordings, then we can definitely have the episodes playing every Wednesday. Remember, we started 2020 during a pandemic. It was definitely easy to stay consistent. As we get busier and as we collaborate here on Get to Know Bob and our summer months come up with our youth programs, etc., it is getting tighter and tighter for Live Wednesday with live guests. Their schedules are very busy on top of our schedule here in production to bring you the show. When we get pre-recording and we get it to a quality that we can bring to you that same experience, it will benefit all of us. And you will not have to say what's going on and feel that we have left the platform, because we are not leaving. No, in April, it just seemed like we were on a hiatus because we were busy. And get excited. You are going to find out just why in the next few minutes. Now, I already have to have some water, if you excuse me. Thank you. Okay. Whew. Now, I have been very fortunate in the relationships that I've nurtured, and they have given me opportunity to meet some phenomenal people and to do some phenomenal work within the community. Because of a relationship that I had the privilege to be a part of the Know Your Rights camp that came to Detroit, which is Colin Kaepernick's camp. This camp goes to a variety of cities, and they engage students about knowing your rights and giving them 10 affirmations, pretty much 10 areas that they have the right to. They have the right to. This camp was, I would say, nothing like any other camp that I have participated in. It was unique of its own. So I'm not taking away from any other camp. Let me make sure that that's noted. What I'm saying is for this to have come from another state for a day camp, all day pretty much, a team of people arriving, pallets of materials arriving, and for it to go off without a hitch. You're talking about food from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, take home dinner. 3 meals. 500 students, multiple different organizations represented. A team of people flying in, plus a team of local volunteers, getting backpacks together for that many students, keeping them organized throughout the day in their various activities. It went off without a hitch. Very, very smooth. It was just a phenomenal experience. It was phenomenal to be there. And yes, it was great, great, great to meet Colin Kaepernick, his wife, and his team. Before I even show you those pictures, I have to give a shout out of thanks to the phenomenal, the one and only Miss Gail Perry Mason. And that's who's pictured here. We're having fun together. We were at a skating rink at the last day where they actually thanked the volunteers for the success of the camp and got an opportunity to test those old muscles out on some skates. Can you believe it? I'm telling you, your girl was in a lot of pain when she got home, and muscles that I didn't even know existed said hello. They were showing up in a way of tightening up, but it was so much fun. I think it was about towards the end, which we were there for a couple of hours, but towards the end, I could pretty much do the rhythm without feeling like I was going to fall. Have not been on skates in some years, but we want to just thank Gail Perry Mason for all the hard work that she did in collaborating and connecting to allow this to happen and to bring the Colin Kaepernick Know Your Rights camp to Detroit. If I had to say what nurturing relationships look like, what nurturing collaboration look like, what nurturing connections look like, if I had to show you what it looked like, it would look like Gail Perry Mason. If you kind of went to a dictionary and was looking for the definition, Gail Perry Mason should go in there as well. I remember her telling me that her desire every day is to try and outgive God. Now, you know that is a feat that is impossible. No one can possibly outgive God. But if that's what you aspire to do every single day, that's what motivates you and that's what you try to do. Can you imagine how much she gives? I mean, she gives so much, not only of her talents, her connection, but of her time. And that is the most valuable resource, your time. And I'm going to be honest, I have told her on more than one occasion, you need to rest and take back a little bit of your time for yourself. Health is so important. It is so important. She needs to rest. But I understand when you have a spirit of giving, then that's really what drives you every day. And these two right here have a phenomenal spirit of giving. And yes, that is the one and only Colin Kaepernick and his beautiful wife, Nessa. OMG, what a phenomenal experience and conversation. Really, the conversation that I was able to have with Colin by himself was phenomenal because of the work that he's doing. I just needed to share and let him know how proud I am of everything he's done. I mean, putting your career on the line because your integrity, because you want to do more for others that are being underserved or that are subject to wrongful death, wrongful incarceration, wrongful treatment, systemic systems. I mean, all of this came from taking a knee. His entire career was on the line, but yet, he still took a knee. And that is just amazing. That's amazing. And you see, he smiles for it, right? But then he takes all of that to educate our youth on top of everything to make sure that they do know their rights. His Know Your Rights camp gives you 10 points to teach our kids from the beginning, from the get-go, to let them know that they have the right. They have the right to be free. They have the right to be healthy, to be brilliant, to be safe, to be loved, to be courageous, to be alive. They have the right to be alive, okay? To be trusted, to be educated. Yes, they have the right to be educated, and they have the right to know their rights. That is just amazing. And these signs were like everywhere. And the camp itself was outlined around these 10 points. Excuse me. Woo, I'm sorry. I guess I got a little used to our new format, which gives me a break for my voice. But as I was saying, the speakers were strategically selected for their expertise to discuss the rights in these areas. And then they also went through some history regarding our city. How amazing. I mean, they're not even from here, but they had people come in to make sure that they got educated about mistreatment that happened right here in the city of Detroit with the riots and what started it and what happened after it. It was just a phenomenal experience to be a part of. Then I also had the opportunity. Now, let me tell you a little bit. Some of you might recognize this young man. I didn't. When he came with this group of students, I was just myself, bubbly, introducing myself to others and giving them the lay of the land, what to do, where to get breakfast, and all those good things. Not even recognizing that this young man is an actor. And we had a phenomenal conversation. Mr. Daniel Lee. I'm gonna forget the last name. I apologize if you see this program. I apologize. But it was an amazing conversation just to have with him, and know that, he's going back to school. He does is very humble in his accomplishments. Just when you meet people like that who, he was kind of playing it down. Like, I asked him, "Are you famous?" Playing it down, but yes, he will be on a new sitcom or series. I think this is the new name, not sitcoms. He'll be on a new series coming soon. So just continue to say congratulations on your career and how you're moving forward. And I hope that one day we can have a conversation here on Get to Know Bob so people can connect with you and get to know more about you, and then that why. Why do you do what you do? But much congratulations to one of our own, a Cass Tech graduate doing amazing things. And if you didn't know, this was one of the books that was giving in the backpacks to every child there. And it says, our history has always been contraband. This was edited by Colin Kaepernick, and it's in defense of Black studies. If you wasn't aware, yes, the narrative about Black history is trying to be erased. Okay. The narrative is trying to be watered down, sugared down to a point that possibly it didn't happen. We cannot let that happen. We have the right to our history. We have the right to make sure that our history is shared and told. We have the right to educate our children about what truly happened in our history. So thank you, Colin Kaepernick, and thank you to his beautiful wife. Thank you to Ms. Gail Perry Mason and all the people who worked tirelessly to have the Know Your Rights camp come to the city of Detroit. Now, as we take a moment to pause, I want you to see the first segment and thank these businesses for their support of the first segment. Be right back.
Zoom chat presented by BUF of Michigan. Irby Education and BUF of Michigan Adventures in Literacy Program. January through June 15th, 2024. Only on Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 25900 Greenfield Road, Suite 140, Oak Park, Michigan, 48237. Target audience ages 10 to 16. The program is free. Register today at bufmi.org.
Operation Refuge, now enrolling, the after-school Boost. Kindergarten through 12th grade. The Boost offers homework help, reading enrichment, building social skills, and more. Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The program is free. Contact Barbara Green at 313-380-0408 for more information.
Office Hours with Crystal L. Gunn, Financial Strategist. Your daily dose of financial empowerment. Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the journey towards financial wisdom and small business mastery.
Friday night decompression session with Sonia M. Weaver and Jason Integrity. Celebrate the wins, let go of the stress, vent, share, and encourage. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Register today on Alignable.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob and click the subscribe button.
Oh, welcome back. I hope that you share this with someone else. Just to know that the amazing, amazing things that are going on in the city. I didn't go to all the activities for the NFL draft, and we'll kind of talk about that later because I had a reason why I didn't make it, at least over the weekend. But we're doing phenomenal things in our city. And I want to make sure that you share this with others. So when it says share, please share, because the further it can reach, you never know what impact it's going to have on the individual that receives it. Now, that was the first weekend in April. As we went into the next week in April, BUF of Michigan had a roundtable event, as well as some pictures that I forgot to get loaded, which was the youth financial literacy event that took place at the Treasury Reserve. That was a phenomenal experience. It was four banks that was present. And again, Miss Gail Perry Mason, the connection of nourishing those connections and collaborations, because she was asked to be a part of and be a presenter at this event. And then Gail reached out to me, nurturing events and nurturing connections and collaborations and relationships. So she reached out to me because of our relationship, and knowing that I enjoy teaching and speaking with our youth, especially about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is definitely under the umbrella of wealth building. So I was a co-presenter with Ms. Gail Perry Mason at the Treasury, where BUF of Michigan hosted a financial awareness workshop for the youth. And 5 schools, I believe, were present. We spoke with 3. We spoke with Cass Tech students, King students, and Jalen Rose students. And they were phenomenal. They were engaged in everything. So Gail is an investor, and so she talked about investing in yourself. And then she talked about the importance of having a return on your investment and investing into stocks. I reiterate with own it or own it. And so I asked that question to you watching. Do you understand what I mean when I say own it versus own it? Own it versus own it. And once you kind of understand stock part of it and what we were talking about with investments, it makes a little bit more sense. When you go into a store as a consumer and you make a purchase, that item that you just purchased, you have now taken ownership of it. You own it. When you are an investor and you purchase stock into a company, you now have shares in that company, which makes you an owner, and you own it, the company, versus owning the product. That's the difference. So what the lesson was is, if you have on something, or if this is your favorite store, if you're buying these clothes, if you're buying these jeans, or if you're shopping at this store, or if you're wearing these products, you should then also have an investment into that company's stock. You should own some, right? And so we learned about looking up the price of stock and seeing and comparing the price and how it's grown from where it was from a year ago to how it's doing now, and what that would mean if you were investing and you had ownership of stock. We definitely want to make sure that our students and our young people understand the importance of investing. And then my part was to make sure that they first start with the most valuable investment there is. And that's investing in you. You invest in yourself. That's what you do first. If you haven't invested in yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to invest in other things. You have to know that you are phenomenal and you deserve investing in you. And with that being said, getting the education, believing in yourself, walking in your purpose. What is your vision? What do you desire for yourself? And then investing in yourself to know that it's possible and doing the work to make it happen. Beautiful afternoon with the youth. Being able to share that. I know Gail normally has a a part in her camp that she does. And shout out to Money Matters Camp for being sold out, right? Every single time. They had 3 different registrations this year to try to spread it out and give everybody opportunity to get their kids in. And every time the window opened, it was done like within minutes. That the amount of slots available for that time in minutes. So shout out to Money Matters Camp, where they continuously every summer are bringing financial literacy to our community and giving them opportunity to meet people in the financial industry, these big wigs, right? And give them an opportunity to, what did we say? Make those connections, nurture those connections and those collaborations. So that is amazing. But one thing at the camp are the pearls of wisdom. And that's what we kind of did at this financial literacy event at the Treasury Reserve, was impart some pearls of wisdom to the students. Anytime you get an opportunity to do that, it is a priceless feeling. It really is. It was a joyous opportunity. And then with BUF of Michigan again, I was fortunate enough to be a part and attend a round table conversation that was held at the offices of BUF, where they had some of the gurus, right? The best people, cream of the crop in sports and entertainment. So we had people in film, we had authors there, you had production crews there. Obviously, they were there representing as well as actually doing the production of the event. And then a variety of either coaches, professional athletes or former professional athletes. Then you had people who were over the industries and different organization of sports with our youth. The conversation was priceless. I don't know every name in the room. I do know that the one gentleman in the center photo, he is not even sure if my cursor comes on the screen for you, but he is over the sports program at Summit Academy. And the reason why I remember that is because the location of Summit Academy is right in my backyard, right where I live. So that was good to get that shout out of someone who's from our area. In the red in that center picture is a legendary Pistons player. I have a picture of him close up. I apologize. I do not recall his name at this time, but he gave the perspective of how sports is today versus how it was when he was there. He said, of course, there was no social media, no internet, all those kind of things. You just had word of mouth. You knew of a good player. And here's the thing. If it got around from word of mouth that you were a good player, you were a good player. There was no, recording what I'm doing and putting it on social media for people to see that I'm a good player. He was a good player. Right. So then in the picture to the right, you had the people who were in the industry of film. It was just an amazing afternoon with speaking with this round table. Well, I really didn't speak. I listened to their discussion on the different questions that were posed. The moderator for the event, oh my goodness, his story was phenomenal. The moderator for the event is a sports journalist and became a sports journalist young in school, had an interest of really wanting to share what was going on with the athletes around him that he knew. And then as he pursued that career, decided that he wanted to stay with the inner city schools and actually write about them and tell about what they were doing instead of always focusing on the same group of schools that all other sports journalists were talking about. And because of his commitment to the community schools, it allowed him segues into areas and arenas that really you may not have necessarily thought were going to be possible because of that decision. That conversation was fire, and I am so honored that I was a part of it, to be a part of it. And it happened on a Wednesday, which is another reason why we did not have a show that particular Wednesday. Now, as we go, or before we go into our final segment, we have to give thanks to these businesses and their upcoming events for sponsoring this current segment. Mortgage and Credit Ready Clinic is presented by United Community Solutions. The facilitator is Crystal L. Gunn. This event is happening on Thursday, May the 2nd at 6 p.m. You want to register at https://bit.ly/mac-ready. Only 12 spots are available per clinic, so you want to make sure that you register as soon as possible. The cost for the event is $35. All materials will be provided. The Zeta Eta Sigma Pontiac Alumni Chapter, Erling Dow Greater Service, Greater Progress Scholarship Fund. They're giving away two $500 scholarships to a high school senior enrolled in high school and a Pontiac resident. You want to apply now because the deadline to apply is May 3rd at 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions, they should be forwarded to the Zeta Eta Sigma Scholarship Committee at Zeta Eta Sigma Scholarship at gmail.com. My mental health is my business. This event is happening on May 4th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the UWM Sports Complex in Pontiac, Michigan. You want to register today by scanning the QR code. You can find this information online on Facebook on Dr. Sabrina Jackson's page. The Ready Women Collective, Mother May I? Release the things that no longer serve me or serve you. Speaking on the panel is financial strategist Crystal Gunn, transformation coach Dr. Chief Silent Storm, and personal change coach Heather Hetheru. This event is Saturday, May 11th at 10 a.m. at 18000 West 9 Mile Road in Southfield, Michigan. Register today. Well, welcome back. I am excited as we go into our final segment of the recap of April. What took me away from being able to have these phenomenal shows with you every Wednesday? Well, there was one that was near and dear to my heart because if you did not know, April is Autism Awareness Month. And for those who know me well, are part of my inner circle, or just know me, know that I have a beautiful, beautiful young adult male son who is on the autism spectrum, classified as Asperger's syndrome because he's highly, highly cognitive, very intelligent. And so because he's high functioning, he gets a category called Asperger's syndrome. But it is still a form or on the autistic spectrum. Therefore, he does have some of those qualities that the spectrum covers. Okay. There is some social anxiety, social struggles with social cues and engagement of how to effectively interact, and definitely can sometimes be triggered just in the social environment of too many people, noise, sensories, etc. And then having to sometimes not be able to formalize your thoughts in a cohesive way, because those natural connectors that happen, the synapses that happen in our brains so quickly, under like think quicker than a millisecond. When you're thinking about what you want to say, that's how fast it moves. The thought comes into your mind and is projected in your mouth. That is something that doesn't happen as naturally for my son. It's more of an actual having to focus and think on what you're going to say to produce what you want to say. And that's why sometimes they tend to be nonverbal. It's because those snaps don't snap the way they should. They don't fire the way that they should. So as a result, we want to make sure that we create awareness when it comes to autism. We had a linked event, and it was with a feature for Hezekiah Kids. And Hezekiah Kids is a nonprofit organization that brings about autistic awareness. And there is the mother of the founder, and she is the co-founder. Her son is the founder of Hezekiah Kids. Hezekiah is the name of her autistic son, who is now 18. And she is actually modeling the bracelet that she made at the autistic event. I have my bracelet right here. You can see the colors. Autism tends to have those primary colors as their colors, if you didn't know. And then they use the puzzle piece in those colors. I decided to go with the traditional ribbon as my charm. And it features, as you can see, those primary colors that are shaped in different shapes, so looking like a puzzle piece in there. And I beaded this bracelet in honor of my son. So my bracelet was done in honor of my son, so that I would be able to have a conversation piece when people stop and compliment me on my bracelet. It is an opportunity for me to share with them information about autism and to educate those that are in my near surrounding about autism and autism awareness. So this is, my bracelet. And I have had it on, even though it's May 1st, I have had it on because autism does not stop when the month of April stops. It is something that people can continue to learn and get awareness about all year long. And then here are just a couple of highlights of a few guests that I wanted to point out. I loved his t-shirt, super busy doing nothing. This young man, even though he's a little mature, he beat it for autism awareness, but he also happens to have Downs. And it was just phenomenal getting him beat it. These were some of our younger beaters that were at the event, and they both have their bracelets on. If you can see a little bit of their bracelet, but we thank them. They held up the sign. Just so adorable, and we appreciate their support. Going back to saying thank you so much, Vertanji. Thank you so much for your support of Linked and for wanting to be a part of this autism awareness event. I am going to put out an event coming up for Linked. They are going to be having a Daddy Daughter Bead and Bond event the week before Father's Day. Yes, are you a girl dad? Do you just melt because you have phenomenal daughters and have that bond that only a dad and a daughter can have? Make sure you be on the lookout for that linked event so that you can come and bead and bond with your daughter and have an amazing time during Father's Day. This is an event you don't want to miss. And instead of giving your daughter like the traditional promise ring, this is like a promise bracelet that you designed together and that you've created with each other, letting her know that she is connected to you always, and how much you love and care and appreciate and cherish her. So yes, Linked is doing some amazing things when it comes to building awareness and when it comes to cultivating an environment for deeper connection and creating memories. If you haven't gotten Linked, you need to visit their website at areyoulinked.com. It has been an amazing recap. And before we kind of go off into this ending the show, I do have a few more events that we're going to highlight throughout the show before we come back. I just want to say I appreciate the time that you took this evening to be a part of our show. We had some people come in and out and leave a couple of comments. Thank you again for joining us. Make sure you share and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. So as we go into our last segment to close out our show, I have a few events that I want to highlight for you. Here we go. Juneteenth 2024 Book Fair is Saturday, June 22nd from 12 noon to 5 p.m. The admission is free, but you need to RSVP at junebookfair2024.eventbrite.com. You're going to meet over 30 Black indie authors. Those are independent authors. Can you get excited at the Historic People's Community Church located at 8601 Woodward Avenue in Detroit, Michigan? BUF's program, which is ACE, Aviation Career Education, ACE 1, is half-a-days that are virtual, happening June 24th through June 27th. In person will be happening in a different state outside of Michigan on June 24th through June 27th. Then you have ACE 3, which is going to be in person from July 8th through the 12th. At Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. Then ACE 4 will also be in person August 5th through the 9th, and that is going to be at MAT College of Technology in Canton, Michigan. You're going to have learning careers in aviation, and you're going to have field trips. Program requirements is that students entering the program are in grades 9th through 12th. For the fall of 2024, you must have an inquisitive mind and be open to new experiences. You need to register ASAP. The deadline was April 30th, which was yesterday. I'm not sure, but if you kind of try, don't let the date fool you. Go and check just to make sure, because these programs in aviation are amazing. Future Docs for Tomorrow, BUF of Michigan Sign Norms program. This is an in-person summer academy program, and this is phase 1 at Wayne State University, July the 29th through August the 2nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The enrollment is free, but it is limited capacity. If you have any interest that you think you may want to be a medical doctor, this program is for you. If your kids have expressed that they want to be a medical doctor, this program is for them. Now, the program requirements is that they're servicing students entering 7th, 8th, or 9th grades in the fall of 2024. Hear that? That's between 7th, 8th, and 9th grades only for students that are entering in 2024. They're interested in the medical field. They have a 2.5 GPA or higher and have an inquisitive mind and enjoy challenges. You can scan this QR code for more information is being sponsored to you from BUF of Michigan and Wayne State University School of Medicine. And let us support you and your event by adding it to our Stay Connected segments. Please visit www.dealswithbob.com and contact us today. And because our site is under some construction, if you need to get your events over to me, then you can always reach out to me on my social media platforms and send me an instant messenger with your event, and we would definitely get it on rotation into our programs. Now, as we close out the show, I just want to again thank you so much for being a part of the program. Now, I always end the show asking what books are being currently read on my nightstand, or I would highly recommend reading, etc. I want to say I finished an audiobook called Atomic Habits. I think people have heard of that one. Definitely think you should read that one. There's a book that I'm reading, and it's about your circle of connection. I know it moves from 5, then to 50, then to 100. And so I can't remember the name of that book, but I'll have it for you soon. And the other book that I am reading is called, and it's right here, actually. Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table, Louis Giglio. And this book is, and it's time to win the battle of your mind. That's the sub sentence. It's time to win the battle of your mind. How many times has your mind caused you to immobilize for something? How many times have you talked yourself out of something that you know was meant for you? It's really your mind. Your mind can give you all kinds of scenarios of why you shouldn't do something. Your mouth to tell your mind to be quiet, and I'm going to do it anyway. I know that's easier said than done, because I too am a victim of my mind taking too much control. Taking too much control of my time, taking too much control of my feet, where it moves, what I do. So this book is a great reminder of how to have a strong mindset of not only what you want to accomplish, but just those small thoughts. If you're feeling like, this relationship sucks, the grass is greener, that is probably something going on within your mind that you might want to snip in the bud and find out what the root cause really is of why your thoughts are going there. If you think, oh, I could never do that, that is your enemy coming, getting a seat at your table, because you are greater than he that is here on earth, and you have a purpose, right? So that's why you have to get your mind right. And I have that book on my nightstand, or you can see in my office, to make sure that I read it all the time. So yes, that is my my books that I would recommend. Now, in closing, I want to thank some of our core business memberships that are part of the directory, and that's the Amazing Woman Network, Detroit Metro Podcast, Bright Tech Communications, and Tax Divas, among the few that are there. We are in the process of relaunching the directories, and it will be launched with membership levels. Can you get excited? Because we don't want this to be just a place that sits with no engagement anymore. We are looking for the directory to be a group of businesses that are coming together, nurturing connections, collaboration, so that then they can do business and we can move and grow collectively together. And that is what CORE is. It's a community of reputable entrepreneurs that will be working together to promote restoration of our communities. And so that is why we're excited about the directory relaunch and what it's going to do in offering these different levels of membership. But of course, our core level membership is the best of the best, and will give you access to a world of information. So of course you will want to be a core member. It goes without saying. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, doing the search for Deals with Bob, and clicking on the subscribe button. While you're there, you'll want to make sure you click on that notification bell so that you are notified each and every time we go live. I am so honored that you joined us live this evening. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Again, I cannot overemphasize that. Please, if you're watching this, share it with others. If you think that what we're doing matters and is making an impact for our businesses, for our Bobs, please subscribe and encourage other people to subscribe as well. I am Sonia Weaver. I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollar does matter, and deal with Bob. Have an amazing week. I'll see you soon.